Happy New Year, everyone. I am so glad to be back here with you in 2025 for this special episode of Leadership COGS. We're starting 2025 fresh. So, as we begin this year, I thought we would take some time just to set intentions. If you guys came off of 2024, you likely finished the year in a rush, trying to finish up whatever open items you might have had on your professional plate, and then trying to balance that with whatever you might have had open with your personal plate. So, because all of that happened, and then you had a couple days off, including New Year's Day, and you might have even taken a couple days off at the end of that. So, the second and third, you were out of the office and just trying to feel refreshed, and you're back at work today. There might be pressure on your shoulders because there were emails that you didn't open, there were phone calls that you didn't take, there were people that you forgot that you had to get back to. And now here you are having to start anew and pick up where you left off on one hand, and on the other side, you're trying to start fresh. You just want things to kind of etch a sketch, rinse, so that you can paint a new portrait of your 2025. If that's you, just show me your hands in the chat. Yeah. I see a couple of those hands going up. Yeah. So I anticipated that would be the case. So in this special episode of Leadership COGS, we're going to talk about that, setting intentions for the year. What I know is that intentions tend to be tenuous. And that's why I want to dedicate this time to just that. So just a quick reminder, I'm Farnia for now, and I'm your host for the weekly episodes of Leadership COGS. And COGS stands for celebration, ownership, glue, or wherever you may be stuck. And S is for the stretch. The stretch when you're trying to do one more thing in a new way, and you may not feel the certainty, but in this space, you have an opportunity to get the accountability and the encouragement and the insight that you need in order to make those stretches. So let's get started. We're talking accountability, and I want to stop sharing slides. Why? Because I don't think you want to see slides today. I actually think this is just going to be a conversation between us in this protected space. So, intentions. Intentions are softer than goals. Many of you might have been assigned professional goals that you're supposed to be working on or that you didn't even finish working on last year. And those goals, everyone talks about SMART goals, specific, measurable, time bound, all of those constraints around goals. And what that's great conceptually, sometimes it feels heavy, it feels onerous. And because it feels so onerous, we don't necessarily adopt them and internalize them and make them our own. So I call today setting intentions instead. Intentions are not quite goals. They're like a GPS, they're directional. So with an intention, you set the direction that you would like your energy, your effort, your engagement to focus in, so that you can take whatever steps you're going to take, so that you can be surrounded by whatever people you choose to be surrounded by, and that you can start walking in a direction that is closer to where you aspire to spend more of your time. So that sounds pretty loose, but let's see how it works. So this year, I set a couple of intentions. I said that I was going to start my days with special habits, building new habits, and restoring and resurrecting and reinforcing some old habits. So my habits had a little bit of an acronym. I call them REMs. So every day I want to make sure that I relax. Every day I want to energize myself through exercise. Every day I'd like to spend a little bit of time in meditation. And lastly, I would like to have spiritual alignment with all that I'm doing. And that's the S. So those things are what I put in place at the top of my day. And so far, I'm happy to say I am 6 for 6. And while I'm celebrating that, or C is in COGS, while I'm celebrating that, I know that it's difficult to sustain it. So and I had to build structures to make sure that I'm able to do that. So the direction I wanted to go in was a direction of greater wellness. And you might say, Farnia, you're talking about wellness, you're teaching wellness, you are coaching people on greater wellness. So how much better do you think you want to get? My answer is this: wellness is not about destination. Wellness is about a direction. And my direction being greater wellness means that while I feel wonderful at times, I don't feel wonderful all the times. And I know that professionally that affects my performance. So greater wellness for me meant each day I'd like to do something to relax. And that relaxation means, where am I sparking joy, either internally or be surrounded by that joy? Ask yourself that question. Where is it that you're experiencing more joy in your day? Where is it that you would like to have more joy in your world? And for me, what came back was, I just want to be able to laugh. If I've laughed, a hearty laugh, not the superficial ha ha ha, where your eyes aren't even squinted because it's not really that funny. If I've laughed a hearty laugh, then I know that I've experienced some joy. If I've spent some time with my family in a meaningful way, even if it's short, I know that I would have experienced some joy. If I've gone to lunch with a friend or even a colleague that I haven't seen in some time, those things spark joy. So if I know that I've done something along those lines, then I would have ticked the box for joy. And I would have relaxed, because in those experiences, that's what I feel, is a sense of relaxation. And before I continue, I just want to break down what I just did. I named the direction. The direction is relaxation. And then I talked about how I might see that I was moving in that direction. So those, some people might call metrics. How many times did you feel joy? I'm not there. I simply want the intention to be relaxation. And what I know is these general category of things result in relaxation. So if I've laughed a hearty laugh, if I've enjoyed the company of my family or friends, then I know I'm still facing the right direction. Think for a moment for yourself. How do you know that you're facing the right direction? Feel free to drop that in the chat. You could speak into the space, but I know many of you do not. So my E, as you guys are, I see some notes coming across in the chat. My E is exercise and energy. What does that mean for me? Well, it means this. Each day, I want to use my body in a way that is meaningful and in a way that gets my heart moving, in a way that's more than what I feel when I am being sedentary or sitting down. I want my cells to know that they are still around and valued. And while that seems silly, exercise and energy are important for me, because not only do they nourish and they bring blood supply to my body, they also support my performance. I know when I'm in motion, oftentimes if there's something challenging that I'm dealing with professionally, I take a walk. And not only does that clear my head, but it also better opens up creative possibility. When I'm going into circumstances when I may need to negotiate or influence, sometimes I may invite someone on a walk with me. Because when you're walking, Sometimes those defenses that are not real defenses, sometimes they melt away. And what's left is creative possibility. So, to the degree that I begin my days, or I inject somewhere in my days energy and exercise, I know that directionally I'm going in the right place and I'm nourishing my body, my mind, and my performance and my wellness and all of my relationships because I've done this thing. It's like stopping at the gas station and filling up your tank. Exercise yields energy, which yields better outcomes professionally, personally. The meditation. So, in these sessions, sometimes you'll see me do micro meditations or incremental meditations, fractional meditations, where you start with your head and you just move down your body and just notice whatever might be calling for your attention. So, are your shoulders hunched up? Is your face tight and tense? We don't always have a mirror up to our faces, but taking 2 minutes, anywhere between 10 seconds to 2 minutes of your day, to do a quick circuit. Start with your head and move down to your face, to your jaw, to your shoulders, to your neck, to your back, to your chest, to your legs, and to your feet. Just check in to see how your body is doing. When you're planning your big professional goals, sometimes you know you're at a crossroads or in a position of discomfort because you feel it in your stomach. And how many of us just ignore that feeling and push past it because that's not the work, or you tell yourself that's not the work? Today, January of 2025, I'm telling you that is the work. That's a big, important part of the work, is checking in with yourself, because your body is not just a tool. Your body is a sensing entity that is receiving incredible volumes of information, processing very quickly, and talking to you constantly. So if you consider meditation as that, as an opportunity to check in with your body and clear up any uncertainty, open up new passageways, open up new possibilities through your body, it doesn't feel as woo-woo, or it doesn't feel as, oh, can't do that. I can't focus for that long. This isn't about that focus. It's about looking inward for a moment and checking in with how pieces of you are receiving what might be coming from you, coming for you, coming to you outwardly. So for me, it's just that. Taking between 10 seconds to 2 minutes over the course of my day to check in with myself and see, how am I doing? Have you ever come home and if you have a pet and you see the pet run up to you and pet's just like, hey, I'm just glad you're back. Mainly dogs tend to do that. When you come home and if you have family or friends or partner at home and they say hello and ask about your day, and you feel like, wow, someone actually is paying attention. Well, this is your opportunity to do that, should you choose. For me, that is important because it's checking in with myself and holding myself to a standard. I can't expect other people to ask me how I'm doing if I'm not even asking myself. And let's get to the S. So I call this the spiritual REMS. Mine is plural, or it's my spiritual check-in. So the S stands for spiritual for me. And while I don't expect everyone to have some kind of spiritual connection or spiritual belief, professionally, checking in with the spirit could mean this. What is it that you actually believe? It doesn't have to be an entity. What is it that you believe about your circumstance, about your role, about your team? Check in on your beliefs because it's those beliefs that guide our behavior. So, a check in on belief means this. So many times you may want something. I want my team to respond to me quickly when I send an email. I want my team to be available. I want them to turn their camera on when they're on Zoom or on Teams. I want them to show up to work on time. I want to deliver this multi-million dollar project. I want our impact to be felt by our clients and received well. I want to transform my company through these behaviors and these practices. There's lots of wants. But what do you actually believe? You want those things. What is it that you actually believe? And that is the S for me. What do you believe to be true about the circumstances or even the possibility of the goals or the intentions that you set? And for me, on a daily basis, what that means is just regrounding on some of my own beliefs, checking in. Is that really something that I believe, or am I behaving in a way that is dissonant? So periodically checking in over the course of my day to directionally say, this is where I'm headed. If I start my day that way, and then periodically check in, am I still walking in this direction, or is this a diversion? And is this actually taking me off course? I'll talk about expectancy because when you check in over the course of your day, it also lifts another lens. It tells you what you're expecting or not expecting. It's not enough just to believe something is possible, but it's another thing to expect it and to behave as if that belief were real. So today it's snowing. In the Northeast of the US, it's snowing. And as that snow falls, many companies already told their employees, if you're hybrid today or if you're face to face every day, don't come in today because it's supposed to snow. They've been talking about this snow for a week now. So many people are working from home today. The streets are quiet. And they're working from home because there was an expectancy that there would be adverse conditions on the roads outside. So people stayed home. They brought their laptops home. They didn't show up in the office with a degree of certainty that it would snow and that they wouldn't need to traverse dangerous roads or hop on the train that might get stuck because of the amount of snow that might come down. When you look back at your intentions, where does expectancy sit for you? So this is the S for me. It's what am I expecting to be real in my world? And how am I approaching it as if it is real in my world? So did you stay home today? Or did you head out because you didn't really believe that it was going to snow? If you didn't really believe, even though you say like, yeah, it's going to snow. So you might have even said, oh, I might wear different boots today, but I'm still going because it's not snowing at 7 o'clock or even 8. Or did you bring the laptop home, log in at the same time you normally would with the expectancy that you were going to be there because there was going to be an adverse condition? I'm giving you this example because many of us still go in. Many of us don't really have faith that something is about to happen. So when you set an intention, check on that. Do you have firm expectations that what energy you're putting in, the thoughts, the feelings, the emotions are in alignment with the direction that has been set? I'll repeat that. Are you approaching your intentions with the expectation that what it is that you're moving towards is actually going to be real for you, if not being real already? Just because you can't see it does not mean it's not true or real or present. So my ask is this. I see the chat blowing up right now. Keep those comments coming. We're going to read them, go through them, and I'll be happy to get back to you about them. But check in with yourself. What are your intentions? I shared mine. REMS. And each day, I'm starting my day just doing a check on those things. How will I relax today? How will I get energized and exercise? How will I meditate? Where will I find the space to build the space to check in with myself? And then what do I believe about this day? What I believe is real about this day? And is it, in fact, real? If it's real, what's about to happen? Am I ready for it? Or I am ready for it? Am I ready or I am ready? And I ask you guys to think the same. You don't have to adopt REMS. That's mine. But what is yours? What are your intentions? You drop them in the chat or jot them down on your paper, on your journal, whatever you're using to track. Jot it down, get it down, so that you can get into it. No longer 365 days of this year. We are down to about 359. And in 359 days, if that is our measure, if that is our marker, I want you to feel like you're in motion, and I want you to experience micro movement as you set out on this trajectory of your professional goals. So I'm just going to wrap it up. We'll wrap up for today. I'll see you again next week for our next episode of Leadership COGS. Thank you for being here. As always, you can contact me at farnia@lenserfgroup.com. Feel free to reach out. Connect with the Lenserf Group on LinkedIn. Connect and follow us on YouTube. And of course, connect. I invite you to join me here each week. Take care and be well.